Okay guys, today's stream, okay, alright, yeah, that's gonna work. Alright, I had to check my audio and all that, so it's working. My stream may cut off at any given moment, so do be wary of that. But today I'm about to be showing you guys how I'm gonna be playing Brick from this point on. So starting now, I'm gonna put 5 into Endless Rage. This will increase my duration of this, as it's a pretty long cooldown, at least from a good duration. So punching while in Berserk causes you to dash forward and slug your enemies. Now this, depending on how you look at it, this could be useful or useless. I'll put 5 into Harden, 5 into Juggernaut. Now I am going to do the useless and put 5 into Iron Fist, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But I'm going to put 5 into Payback, 5 into Short Fuse, which leaves me with a total of 10 remaining skill points, which I'm going to put 5 into Unbreakable, and 5 into Brawler, not Brawler, Bloodsport, which is a cool reference to the film. Okay. So killing an enemy while in Berserk activates while Berserk is active, regenerates some of your health. So the amount regenerated will be 10% per kill. So if I kill 10 enemies, 10%, that's 100%. So with this duration, my potential of regeneration is definitely up there. This increased my maximum health by 60%. Which is going to be very useful. 50% damage resistance after killing an enemy, which combined with this, it's just god tier, to say the least. Now this reduces my cooldown by 30 seconds, which just takes 60, so this cuts it by half basically. This increases my melee damage by 30% plus my explosive punches, which are soon going to be upgraded by Endowned, which increase my explosive damage and if I do upgrade this to 10, that will be 15%. And so dealing explosive damage upon an enemy reduces cooldown of Berserk. So if I'm using my explosive punch, I'm not quite sure how Liquidate will work, or if it does anything like that. But it is pretty god tier. I may get Bash, which basically gives me the ability to daze my enemies from a melee strike. Now, if it does take more than one hit, this could potentially be useful. It could also be completely useless. Heavy-handed, this will be very useful for chain killing enemies in Berserk. But I feel like going for Die Hard. And eventually, there's no possible way I can reach Blaster Master unless so max level is 69, so that gives me roughly 20 more skill points to work with. 5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm 44, max level 69. So I could potentially get all 3 done, but and we're gonna experiment this build on some skags. So already I'm dealing lots and lots of damage here. I'm not really being fucked with all too much. This is an explosive shotgun, which is basically the most useful weapon for me, because everything that Brick specializes in, shotguns and it's explosive. Oh, forgot to mention a couple of things before we go ahead and fully explain how overpowered this build is. My health automatically, by this class mod alone, by the Berserker class mod, or my Titan class mod, my bad, essentially increases my health by 52% of my maximum health. Plus 4 in a Safeguard, 3 in a Juggernaut, 3 and 2 Unbreakable, and 2 health regeneration. So, a couple of side notes. I'm pretty sure in Downed will, I hope to get these two. And if Liquidate will not be me, I will go ahead and put Rapid Reload and Blaster Master. So these 3 in this one. For the remaining skills, and anything left over will go into Die Hard. If I get lucky. Which I'm pretty sure I can naturally do. Let's count. So I'm at 44. So let's step back for just a second. Okay, if I do my math correctly, if the max level in the game is, is in fact 69. Okay, so it would take I'm already at level 44. Right? Wait, it's my level 44. Level 44. The max level 69, that gives me 25 skill points to use afterwards. So, put 5 in here. 5 in here. 10. 15. This brings me down to here, this brings me down to here. And this will bring me to my final tier. So yeah, I'll have enough, but just enough, no left over. So yeah. So I can make that be a build, a mixture of the 3. But to be honest with you guys, the best way to fully play this out were to be to get Die Hard, Safeguard, and Heavy-Handed, and Sting Like a Bee, as well as these 2. But that's too much, because that right there is like 20. So, I don't know, whatever. But Rapid Reload, it reduces my reload, it increases my reload speed, and it reduces my recoil. Maxed out, maxed out, we're looking at about 40% in recoil reduction. So that'd be very useful, especially when combined with stuff like that. My weapon proficiencies. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and assume. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that I'm gonna be using this explosive shotgun a lot. Per hit, we're looking at around 5 seconds per hit from an explosive, so that means that all that would do is mean that I just have to get 4 hits on an enemy, then I could insta berserk back. So, if we can find ourselves more explosive weapons along the way, like the ogre perhaps, or something sufficient enough, or I'm sure we'll find something along the lines of efficient. Now, if we handle all this properly, I get, if I get this, it will basically increase my explosive damage by 15%, so by 3% per point, for 5 points it's 15%. So that could be something we could look toward achieving with this character. I have a pretty good Lilith build. I'll probably show you guys in a couple of days, maybe, or maybe later today. But, oh dear God. I'm basically invincible. With this, well actually with this, with Bloodsport, I'm basically invincible. Killing an enemy while in Berserk is, while Berserk is active, regenerates some of your health. In total, 10% of your health. Roughly per kill. So, that combined with... so here, I'll just read this. Gain the ability to go Berserk. While Berserk, R2 and L2 throw punches. You also gain resistance to all damage, and you also regenerate health while berserking. Okay, so what this accounts for, roughly, my class mod adds 2% health regeneration, which I'm not sure that's all too good, but combined with the fact that killing an enemy causes me to get 50% damage resistance with Juggernaut, that's already God tier. So after my shield breaks, I get a bonus damage bonus of 40% damage for 10 seconds. My shield breaks in Berserk, I can get kills very fast. And so, with this 30% melee damage, it is a pretty okay buff. So, if I get this, it translates to roughly around 60% damage if I put 5 in there. That 60% topped with this, if I can get that, that's roughly around 60% damage bonus, so that translates to around about an insta-kill basically. If I get Bash is not necessary at all. Die Hard is kind of necessary per brick, I'm gonna say. These two, Revenge is pretty good. Killing an enemy increases damage with all types of weapons for a few seconds. It's whatever, man. But it's not a need, I would say. Rather, actually, I take that back. That's not a need. This, however, is because I deal explosive damage from this. So, the more damage, the better, I guess, or that I'd assume. And so when the shield breaks, I go into ultimate mode, which it's pretty cool. But my regeneration speed. You know, it's a 30-second cooldown, which is a lot better than 60 seconds is what it was saying before. So it is something to be sure of. And so, but also increasing this by 50% is also a good thing. So my Lilith build is pretty good. Now, it may be kind of hard to do the setup for because it does require a pearlescent weapon known as the Tsunami, and it is 100% necessary to make the build work. But I'll go into that when I do my Lilith build. But you know, I don't need to, because see, I can go down this whole tree at max level. I can go down all 3 trees in max level, but there's just too many better skills in the other trees to really go for. So my best bet for me is Sting Like a Bee, Heavy-Handed, Die Hard, and Safeguard, and this. So it'd be going 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. These two, and then these two. Mainly because and I'll tell you why mainly. It's because this allows me to launch forward, and this is very useful. Or if I don't actually get this, then I'll change it for bash, which what's it called? Gives your melee attacks a chance to daze enemies, slowing them and reducing their accuracy. So it's kind of a bit useless, but it slows them down. And so if you get 5 in there, it's a 50% chance to daze, which means that every 2 hits, essentially it's going to be a on or off switch. It's between the two. Every time you melee and in Berserk, if you could bash an enemy or daze them for just a few seconds, because that's all it takes. And if you kill an enemy with this, you don't really need this at all. But I'm going to say if you go for these two and this, it's not a bad choice. But Safeguard kind of increases your shield strength, it says. So I'll re-specify that. It's basically shield capacity. It would turn this into 1,000 shield capacity, then 800. So I mean so yeah, it just increases your shield capacity. Now it says shield strength. At first I thought it was like shield resistance to all damages, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case, though I could be mistaken. I could read the wiki, but I just don't feel like it at the moment. But when when my build becomes finalized and that becomes that, then whatever. But in my opinion, I'd rather use something that does something good than do something that has the chance of doing something else. See, look, and I can just spam Light Punch, and as you guys can see, that's around 800 per hit, so it's not bad at all. But you have to also consider that, hey, I can turn that into something much more powerful with actually, I might just get this, and then these two. This just allows me to dash my enemies or lunge toward them, which is very useful, especially when you're charging at an enemy. So as you guys can clearly see from this gameplay, you know, it doesn't take much to be god tier, overpowered, or whatever you want to call it. It just means you just have to have really, really good guns and just skill, and always aim for critical hits at all costs. But you see, with Brick, I need to find me a better health regeneration oriented class mod, because the whole point of Brick, in my opinion, he should have more health regeneration based skills. If they were to replace, I don't know, Prize Fighter, because it's the most useless skill in the game, sort of. It has a 6% chance to spawn in a cash prize, and really, who needs money in Borderlands? It's not a money game. It's not like Grand Theft Auto where every little penny counts. It's more like you can sell a bunch of junk items and make a lot of money off of that. And either way, the game sort of gives you money to work with. See, I have what was that, 9 million to work with. Maybe that's 9 million. Oh, no, that's 900,000, I think, right? Yeah, that's $900,000 to work with. If you look at this, gun's only worth 200,000 at level 40. So, you know, you get a lot of money in this game, and you can reach that max money count relatively easy. And remember, I'm not even at max level yet. And when I get my artifacts to max, see, my build isn't even finalized yet, so I really can't judge it or rate it upon its efficiency until I've reached max level. But you see, in Borderlands 1, you can do things like this, man. You could become overpowered very easily, and it's far less complicated, and there's less variables to worry about than in, per se, Borderlands 2 or pre-sequel. I'd go ahead and say that Borderlands 3 would probably be the hardest, in my opinion. Well, each of the Borderlands games are pretty hard games to play in general. Mainly because there are just so many different things to really worry about. Borderlands 1, it's all about crowd control. You don't have to worry about loader bots shooting advanced projectile patterns, or you don't have to worry about things flying around. The only things that fly around in this are wrecks. Alright, we're gonna beat this guy just using Berserk, so I don't want to actually use any guns during this playthrough. Not playthrough, but boss fight. I said playthrough, man, I'm weak. Key ring of severed thumbs opens up the headstone mine entrance. All those are severed thumbs, man. That's so gross. Oh, they were just keys, low key, but yeah. The description says it all. A key ring of severed thumbs opens up the headstone mine entrance. I remember my first playthrough back on the PS3. This was a very scary part for me. Because I was like, what the fuck is this place, dude? And to be 100% honest with you guys, still to this day, I don't even know what the fuck this place is supposed to be. At first, I thought it was a mental asylum, you know, but the further I got through, and I'm like, this place makes no damn sense. But then again, when I got to points like this where it's like a workstation, but I'm like, what the fuck even is this place? But then I remembered, this is Borderlands. Does it really matter what this place is? Like, and I know this place is a location or whatever, but I don't know what it's supposed to be. Like, is this supposed to be like a water purification area, an oil plant? Like, what is this place supposed to be? It's supposed to be something. Well, we're about to actually see what this place is supposed to be real quick. Sludge's, it just says Sludge's safe house. So it's literally unknown what this place is supposed to be. The only thing the game tells you is it's Sludge's safe house. Which is kind of cool because it adds a bit of mystery to the area. It adds a lack of explanation of what it's supposed to be. Which kind of keeps the whole Borderlands vibe. Which is like, does it really need an explanation? Like, you know, obviously as the games go forward, you know, the buzzard's nest, you can clearly tell, and like the buzzard's nest in Borderlands 2 is what I'm referring to by the buzzard's nest. If you guys have played Borderlands 2, it's obviously a bandit camp, and so this place is a bandit camp, you know. No explanation for that, it's just a bandit camp. You don't ask, huh, is this area supposed to be a lookout of some sort, or is this area supposed to be where a person's from before forged steel here, or worked on a water pump or something? I don't know, it could be anything. Water purification station is now turned into a bandit safe house. You can kind of see, I don't know, the remnants of tools or past machinery used to do, I guess, purifying water or whatever. Or it could be anything, really. It could be forging steel or oil. So it kind of has that cool atmosphere of, like, I don't know how to describe it. But in Borderlands, there's one big common theme, and that is, for some odd reason, mines. There's a lot of mines in this game. Well, not in this game, but like in the series. There is the caverns, the corrosive caverns in Borderlands 2. There is the mine in this game, which I'm about to open the mine gate. There's also in pre-sequel they have you in this section, I'm pretty sure, where there's like they're mining material or resources out of an area, I think. Was that in the, yeah, it was in pre-sequel, where they're excavating the vault key. So it's pretty cool. And you know, Firestone, that's another cool location. It doesn't need an explanation. It's just kind of a town. Then you have the windmills right there. They're windmills and shit. And then you have steam out in the distance, you know. Like, what happened there? And then you have those towers. So certain locations have like this vibe, like they were used for a different purpose, and now they're kind of just bandit camps. So it's just a cool feeling I've always had for the first game. Now the second game, I'm not so much. Bandit camps became more or less just kind of places, rather more commonplace. But in this game, bandit camps kind of have a unique vibe. Like right here's a bandit camp. You know how you can tell? You can't. It just looks like some shit out of Mad Max. No other Borderlands can capture this vibe of like apocalypse, I guess, other than this one. I'll still be honest with you guys, when I was a kid playing this, man, oh man, it was the shit, dude. See, I'm a teenager now, right? Like, I'm 17 now, but when I was like 12, 13, you know, young, this game was the shit, man, you know. And I like when shit like that happens, like how that door just opened. Now obviously sometimes the graphics can have trouble rendering quite properly until it fully renders in. But man, oh man, does this get awesome. Oh, and I love the DLCs, like T-Bone Junction and what's that called? The General Knox DLC, the Secret Armory of General Knox. The fact, I always loved it when I can enter an interior like this. It just has its own sort of vibe to it. You don't really need to know what it's used for. You don't really need to know why not or why. But you can tell this place is clearly, I don't know, like the power generator room, right? They got these generator looking things, and if this renders in time, maybe we'll have like a warning electricity sign or whatever. They'll render in at one point, but you can kind of tell they got all these weird monitor things to look at. And it's kind of cool, man, you know? Kind of see that, I don't know, it has a power generator vibe to it. So this is where all these wind turbines get their power from. So this place had a specific use, and now it's just an interior to a bandit camp now. So pretty cool vibe, man. This game captures this very well. No other Borderlands game will capture this, because Borderlands 2, as Borderlands games progressed, they got more colorful. These graphics are dull, gray, black, brown, you know, yellow to some extent, and orange, kinda. And that, mainly all you saw was light gray, dark gray, black, and sometimes, and mostly, like, yeah, brown, gray, light gray, dark gray, like sand almost. I don't know how you describe that, like tan, you know. So, oh, and yeah, that was it, man. That's 90% of the game's colors. But yeah, no, as Borderlands games progressed, environments got more beautiful and stunning. Like, for instance, Oasis was some area of the Captain Scarlet's DLC. Or like, for instance, the Highlands in Borderlands 2 is very green and had, you know, but the wildlife exploitation preserve or whatever had an array of different exhibits that had different themes to them. There's a lot of yellow in Borderlands 2, you know, Hyperion new use stations and Hyperion technology littered everywhere. So it had a good not contrast, but mixture of different colors. It still had the gray and whatever overlay, and then had a shitload of new colors added. So you see these trees are very brown and dead. Everything looks dead in this game. And it helps capture this apocalypse look to it. There's like bones of creatures and shit all like everywhere. Then you get these like metal shacks that are, you know, very poorly and crudely made. You know, this area was clearly a house, and now it's being used as some sort of whatever this is supposed to be, you know. And there's a dead body, man. You find little shit like this throughout the game, man. But it's the DLCs that capture the vibes the best. But yeah, no, this feels like an apocalypse, man. It feels like a sci-fi apocalypse, man. It really does. And so no other Borderlands game captures this, because as Borderlands gets more mainstream as it continues, like they have the Echo Net in Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel and everywhere else. But in this, there's no mention of no Echo network. Maybe there is at the beginning with the Echo communication device that, you know, was created by Dahl. You know, so Dahl founded the Echo Net system. There's these machines that are very colorful and cool looking and have their own kind of vibe, and they stick out. Have these cool holographic images of like a tire and tire smoke. And you know, you go to customize your vehicle here, and if we get out of our vehicle, you see that's the only thing that really stands out in color. See if I go back to about what I said about there being lots of brown, kind of see like rust almost looking, like brown and orange put together makes a rust look, and they have a lot of it everywhere. And so rusty pipes and shit, so there's obviously a lot of things. But look, man, if I can make my car pink, and it's the only thing that it stands out so different. It looks so fucking different. It looks like it's not even supposed to be in the game. Alright, so you can clearly see that when you see shit like this, it stands out so well. And then of course the loot boxes are this sort of dark olive green, you know, military-esque vibe to them. And then these lockers are kind of weird looking. Oh, and the bobbleheads I just picked up. Those are only in this game. They're nowhere else. And the trash everywhere. Now the trash, that stays in Borderlands. It's a common... Oh. Look at that buzzsaw axe. Look at that sword. Piss off. So this area is supposed to be a mine, basically, so keep that in mind. It feels like a mine, just used as a bandit camp. See, this area, in my opinion, is one of the best areas in the game, because it captures the look of what I'm talking about. See, these are clearly locations and things used. See the machinery and stuff. That's what I'm talking about, man. The machinery, you see it all right there and shit. It's kind of locked away or put to the side, and it's so disregarded. And you get a chance to really look at the environments. It's so cool looking. They have that vibe I'm talking about. I'm not quite sure what to call it yet. And Yeah, I'm gonna call it industrial vibe. I don't know, because it feels industrial and shit like that. And I've always had this strange fascination with like abandoned factories and stuff, dilapidated factories. It would be, I think, you know, when I go back to games like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Condemned 2, Bloodshot, but they had this like dilapidated doll factory, and I just thought that was like the creepiest location ever. But I like this vibe because it's somewhat creepy, man. Picture you just walking through some desert through this place, right? It's all abandoned and shit. That'd be kind of creepy, right? But you have these psychos and these, you know, bandits basically running the show, and they're being used as these Mad Max-esque sort of so they have two sides, you know, two different, it's like a coin, right? There's the heads and tails. So the heads are like, well, here are the locations as they are, you know, this is areas used as a mine. However, the tails of it is that it's being used as a bandit camp, and so it's has a Mad Max vibe. It's apocalypse, sort of, you know. I don't know. It's pretty cool. And you see like these big pipes of fire sticking out of them in the background. And I don't know. It's this game. No other I've never seen anything like this in Borderlands 2. Now, I've never seen any pipes sticking up and fire coming out of them in Borderlands 2. I've only seen this in Borderlands 1. I've only seen locations as pure as this in Borderlands 1. Borderlands 2, everything's all colorful. They got so much more props put up. It's almost kind of weird, you know, how the vibes change so drastically from game to game. Pre-sequel tries to capture this Star Wars, Star Trek, and Dead Space all together. I don't even think Dead Space is the right word. I think that System Shock is the right word. So they capture all these different, you know, vibes and put them together, and then just throw you onto Elpis, which is like Pandora's moon. So it had this kind of strange vibe to it, you know. But man, this game, the locations here, they're all the same. They're all this sandy, dusty, shitty area with lots of rust and mold. You know, very grungy type environments and industrial. So, such a cool look that just never gets reimagined in Borderlands 2. The closest you get, in my opinion, to this are two different locations. Okay. And that would clearly be the dam where you go save Roland. If you haven't already played the game, then I just kind of spoiled a section for you. But basically, you go to this dam, and it's being used as a bandit camp for like the Bloodshots. But you know, if you haven't played Borderlands 2 yet, it's been out since 2012, so I'm not gonna fuck for spoiling it. But yeah, no, I don't really spoil the ending, it's just part of the story. Well, actually, I don't think it's really a spoiler. It's really just me revealing a location that you'll end up going to. You get to see Firestone, but I hate how they portray the arid Badlands in Borderlands 2, because, you know, whilst you do get to see a section that you could never really go to in the first game, you also get to see, you know, Firestone again, and that whole setup. And I don't like it because they have, now instead of it being this cool, it would now be abandoned and only occupied by Hyperion robots, which would be kind of creepy vibe almost. But instead it's now got this slag all over the damn place, slag puddles and shit. And now there's all these Hyperion robots and junk everywhere. It's they got this huge Hyperion pipeline where they're getting all the iridium, which is like, you know, purple. So now they have more Hyperion technology there. So now you get a whole lot of yellow and purple, and it just and a whole bunch of blue. too, you know, I guess. Not really a whole bunch of it, but now you get blue as a color, I guess, from all the different like machines and stuff like that. But, and what I mean by blue, by the way, I mean like the lights and shit from like the fast travel station or stuff like that. Not like actual blue. I mean the sky is more blue in that game, but I don't know, now you get a shitload of colors that just were never there, and now it's all colorful, and I don't know, I like it more like this. And I think that's why I like the original Borderlands more, is the cel shading is far more pure in this game. Not pure, because it's really low quality, you know, but that's what I like about it, is it's so, no other game can capture this. Not even Borderlands 2. Borderlands, if you can go ahead and compare Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, you can clearly see the difference. It's like comparing Bioshock 1 to Bioshock 2. Huge difference in graphics. And, you know, this game has a lot more of that comic book-esque look to it from the cell shading. But then of course I get, you know, I get what I want, and I get a game called Rage by Bethesda, and or rather ID Games, but or whatever they're called. I think they're owned by Bethesda now, but now, you know, with Rage is the name of the game, and it gave me, it is also cel shaded, but it's cel shaded in such a different way. It looks so fucking cool, man, and it's like, it's got these Mad Max vibes, you know. It's the apocalypse, and they got some Fallout vibes too. It's just a whole bunch. You feel so weird in that game, man. And oh man, that game's a hidden gem. Although a lot of people disregard the game, and you know, obviously it's not for everybody, but man, Rage is just the most awesome game, man. It just is, man. I just can't describe any other game that I feel the same way about. But then again, because the feeling with that game is so different from other games, like with Borderlands 1 feels like that classic, you know, couch co-op. You know, you can eat pizza and chill on a Friday night after school with your friends, and you can play it all night long, and then you can load it up the next day and keep on playing it by yourself. This game is so unique, and Borderlands 2 captures the same feeling of that, you know, of constantly playing it and almost never getting too bored with it. But it enhances it by adding so many more skills and play styles. And you can not customize, but you can go more in depth with your characters with the skills. So because of that reason alone, Borderlands 2 kind of fits a different cake. Why did I say that? Fits a different cake. That doesn't make any sense. It's like it has a different feeling to it, you know. It just hits different, you know. But this man, oh man, the oversimplicity of this makes it awesome. Now obviously we have Borderlands 3, and it does exactly what Borderlands 2 does, except far worse, because it adds so much more color. Now you have this weird contrast of red, black, and white, and it's only, you know, made ever so worse by the consistent adding of other colors, of like purple and stuff. I don't know. They add so much color into that game that it almost looks like a psychedelic drug trip. I take that back. It's not that colorful, but it's Borderlands though, right? So it has the same vibes that the original has, which that I really do appreciate, because Pandora feels the way that Pandora should feel. Even though it has more color added to it now in Borderlands 3, the game still feels the way a Borderlands game should at the beginning. But it only gets better. The environment, each planet has its own different vibes, which that's so cool, because now you have like Eden 6, which is ever so referenced in all the Borderlands games. Borderlands 1, 2, Tales from the Borderlands, and I'm pretty sure in pre-sequel, though I can't really account for that though. But I'm almost positive, well, in this game it's referenced through a DLC. Now, you know, Eden 6 was mentioned, I believe, in Borderlands 2, but most certainly in Borderlands, the Tales from the Borderlands, you know, and so that game's important to me, you know, though it's not my favorite Borderlands game, because it's not a true Borderlands game, but I still played it. I enjoyed it. It was a good Telltale game, but not a good Borderlands game, but still a good game nonetheless, because it involves a Borderlands story, and it is canon. So unfortunately that game pissed me off because it's canon. So that means if a character dies, or when a character is created, that means they're now within the Borderlands universe. So now we have Reese as a character, which is one of the two main characters of that. Then that would also mean that Vaughn is a character as well, which he is, and Borderlands 2 and 3. And then you get this guy, Sledge. The mystery behind this character was so excellent. You get the first time you ever really see this character, you don't even know his name's gonna be Sledge. You find him through an echo log, and all you do is just see his weird, strange mask, and you hear a bunch of weird sounds rather than actual words. So it's not like he's actually talking in these echo logs. It's all, you know, question marks and stuff. So it's kind of where you first find it when you go to the I forget the name of the exact location, but it's in the arid Badlands. It's where you go kill Nine Toes. When you first blow up the thing, and then you blow open the entrance and you walk in. It's on this crate, and then you can find these weird echo logs throughout the area. But look at this area. This is what I'm talking about. Look, you have lava being dispersed into this, and the texture is so cool looking and interesting. And then you had this weird, like, red thing right there, like burning coals almost, and you got these cool pipes and shit and wiring, and then you see this cool skull, half grenade emblems, and then you got these weird, like, rust and blood stained metal, and then you have all these different machines and stuff hanging from the ceiling, and then to top it off, man, you get the skeleton of this really strange creature, actually, that is actually never explained. I think it's actually a crab worm, but I'm pretty sure it could be anything because it has arms. But this creature is never explained in the actual story, to my knowledge, actually. So yeah, a lack of explanation kind of leaves you wondering, huh? I see these skulls everywhere I go, and now I'm seeing more parts to it. Like, what the fuck even is this thing? But it's right fucking there, and it's the skeleton in the shape of you know, followed by a throne and a fucking big ass chest. And you're just thinking to yourself, man, this is badass. But yeah, nothing really too much could really be said about this place, but the machinery and the air, you know, this industrial look combined with this half bandit camp and destroyed vibe to it, with this giant skeleton of this creature, is just such a cool vibe that But yeah, man, some more machinery. Nothing really too much can be said about this place, other than this very common map prop you'll find in every Borderlands game, I think, except pre-sequel and 3, is this pile of like metal supports, and these things are fucking cool because they're just like the standard prop, but if you actually go ahead and look at it, it's a bunch of like metal stuff, so you can clearly see pipes and metal supports and the whole 9 yards, man. You could really see it all here. This place is has a cool vibe to it, and you know, there's really not much else that could really be said about this place other than it's really different. You know, it has this big ass skeleton that I didn't notice my first couple playthroughs really until, you know, I noticed like the head in this, but if you step back far enough, you start to see like the arms protruding forward and stuff like that, and it's being held up by chains and stuff, so it's being held up by this industrial technology. And I don't know if you can see that up there or not, but that is actually an area that you cannot enter in, but they have all these cool, I don't know, it's such a different vibe, and you'll never find this in Borderlands 2 ever. The only time you'll find it is in the Bloodshot Stronghold, and even that's not really good enough because they have, I don't even know, it just doesn't, it's not the same as this, you know, but you still have that vibe. But that's the only time you ever feel that. The rest of it's not focused on bandits anymore. It's first you get these weird, you know, Arctic oriented, you know, bandit outposts at the beginning. And then when you get to the dam, it's all strange looking, you know. This area is out here in the shit. It's out here in the dust and out here in the sandy desert, the hell, the arid hell that you walk. It's just such a cool, you know, vibe, and they don't have too much Hyperion high-tech looking technology just like this lying around all over the place out there. It's just, they have their locations and areas, but the rest of it, man, look at that, man. That looks so cool. Oh, man. But yeah, they don't have much of that. I guess you can say Lynchwood is kind of has that vibe, but not really in my opinion, because yeah, I don't know, Lynchwood's cool because it's like a town in the desert. So, you know, it's like a very big town with this cool Hyperion. I like Lynchwood, but it's not, Lynchwood is nowhere near that. So yeah, you get this beautiful looking blue. It's like a cyan blue almost, so it's such a good looking blue and color. So and what I'm talking about is this machine right here. You get this beautiful blue right here onto this yellow with all this rust and shit. It fits well with the actual sand. If you step far away, that changes to show that we can interact with it. Get close enough, it pops up square. If you get a color like orange here, orange looks really well in this because it looks so terrible. It's good. I like the terrible look. This is a pretty cool looking bandit camp over here. I like the vibe of the place, but it's really not all that much. It only looks big, but it really isn't. It's just a hill and a couple of different floors, and that's about it. But this location of Firestone's Arid Badlands is possibly one of my favorite locations. So this is divided in half. This area's whole perimeter is cut in half. There's the Firestone side, and then you have this side, Banditville, I guess is what I'll call it. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So if we zoom all the way out, right about there is like Firestone, right? And right over around here is, no, that's not. So right about here, I'm gonna say, is where it kind of cuts off. Let me double check. Map exit. Where's the arena? Map exit. Right about here is Firestone. So when you exit out of here, there's the fast travel. Over here is the arena. Ah, right here. So it cuts right down here. Of course, you could do the good old jump over the thing and get onto this side of the map. So we'll say it cuts about right here. But when you exit this part, this nice, cool, friendly old Firestone, and get right into this area, the vibe changes. Right about here is where all the different windmills are at, and I love that area a lot. But right over here is where we get to that cool ass, one of my favorite locations in the entire game, and it's that arid hill or whatever. And at the end of it, you go to the Sludge's safe house, the coolest location of the entire game, almost. I'm gonna say almost because there's other locations, but really that location has so many different vibes. And then you get about right here, and you see Bandit Camp here, Bandit Camp there. Right in there is the arena, and over there is that cool, the Headstone Mine. And so these are pure bandit camps, you know. They weren't no big industrial building turned into a bandit camp. These are kind of just, I don't know, I don't know what they're doing here. It kind of looks like a oil rig was set up here at one point, you know, because they have the railing for it and all that. But man, dude, this location, dude, they have so much here. They have this cool little up here area, I guess, where there's like dead bodies all over the place, and then, you know, have this cool skull made out of just junk. It looks like these are the tops of trash cans or something, and then this is whatever, it's obviously fabricated from metal. And then they have the cool outline, but then they have this cool this thing right here, this cool rail that's used as like a support as the mouth. So it looks so cool how they execute that. Plus you have that little outpost right there, that little building, and then you have the weird bandit hut, and then of course you have this section that's hanging off the hill, which I love it because it's just so different and unique. See what I'm saying? Like, the environments around here are so different and weird in their own respects, you know. And nothing Borderlands 2 offers is anything like this. And it doesn't have to, you know. Borderlands 2 is unique. It's its own game. It doesn't have to be like the first one, but this is what I like about the first one. So I liked Lynchwood, and I also liked what's that other area called? The Dam. But it's such an early on area that it, you know, you can only really visit there like 3 or 4 times before it becomes totally useless to you. Like, maybe you could visit there the first time for your first playthrough, you go back there to do a quest or something takes you back there, and then you know, anything can really happen to bring you back there. Maybe you just decide to go there on your own to kind of explore. There's one quest that brings you back, and that quest is from Tannis. It involves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reference, and it's kind of cool. But also, you go there to get the quest from the core, the loader core, which tries to kill you, and then of course you can turn it into a talking gun or a talking shield. And that's it. That's the only 2 reasons that you'd ever go back there, apart from the obvious reason you'd go there in the first place is to do the mission. and then maybe let's say 1 or 2 times just for exploration purpose to just go back there. But apart from that, you just don't ever go back there, really. It's so pointless, but the vibes that area contains are so good. It's just a shame that the area wasn't used to, in my opinion, the fullest extent it could have been used. In my opinion, they should have had more sections to it and more missions in that area, but they didn't. And that's cool and all, but I liked Lynchwood the most because there was like 5 side quests that take you there to that one area, and it's not a story based location. It's not at all, it does not involve the story. You don't need to go there. If you discover it on your own. It's not an area that the game forces you to go. It's all on your own. But when you go there, it's so cool. And you know, at first I thought it was a secret location, but the developers intended for you to go there because there's like that's where you go find the Axton audio diaries, which are pretty cool. But they want you to go back there, and you know, the big part that kind of took me kind of away from the whole bandit vibes is when you go to Thousand Cuts, because you have to go there. And then like when you do go there, it's mainly just, it's 90% like a hilltop mountain-esque thing, and then, you know, the other half of it's Hyperion, 1/2 bandit, 1/2 Hyperion, and the bandit section could have been turned into something far better. You know, there could have been more buildings and stuff to enter into, more side quests there, but you get to meet McFace Shooty, or whatever his name is. You have to shoot him in the face. But yeah, one of the other things that this game has to offer that I just appreciate ever so much is the little hidden Easter eggs, like that hidden claptrap right there. Let's get a little bit closer. I could have swore to God on my parkour days back in the PS3, I used to be able to get up here. Now in the remastered version, I don't think I'm able to. Never mind. So there he is, the rare claptrap. This game is filled up with all kinds of secrets and Easter eggs and references, and that's the other thing that Borderlands is full of. This Borderlands is full of a lot of good ones that you really just don't, you just can't tell that they're really references or Easter eggs and references to things that you probably don't know or probably haven't heard of. Like the Monty Python, for instance, is referenced here, you know, and the tis but a flesh wound. So. But yeah, man, Firestone, man, this has its own vibe to it. It's scary bandit town area, but it's not used by bandits. It has a sort of friendly, humble feel to it, you know? Like, look, man, this place feels like home. It has you here for a little while. You get to meet the likes of Dr. Zed and TK Baha, and they're pretty relatively nice characters. Marcus Kincaid has a sort of gun store that's been on lockdown because of the bandits. And by the way, you can't enter this interior in Borderlands 2. It's all shut down. But this little interior here is kind of cool, man. It kind of would remind you, or at least I don't know if other players felt the same way about this place as I did. But when I first started playing the game, I kind of wanted to low-key. I always thought about like how, I wonder what this area would be like if it was still being used by like a clerk, like a store clerk right here, and they had you buy the guns here, you know. It'd be so cool if they turned this area into like a hub or something, or have some sort of ceiling fan going off. I like the ceiling fans in this game, by the way, pretty cool. Or how Dr. Zed has this really creepy area of his house where you come into here and it's, you know, And he's got his shit right here. He's got his head, his dead body, the limbs, and then he's got this really creepy and kind of weird room right here. And this room really doesn't symbolize much. It's just got two dead bodies, which would, by the way, assumingly be the two other residents that would have lived here. That house and that house respectively. Though he's got this third dude on the table, which I'm assuming was the store clerk. And this is not a house, this is a store. But he would actually have been living back here. And this section house right here. So. No, not this house. Because as you guys can clearly see, this is that house I was shooting at before. It would be further back here. And it's just right around here. It would be this house right here that I'm shooting at now. It's right outside the gates of Sanctuary. But, not Sanctuary, Firestone. But if you continue out here, Firestone also has this pretty strange but very cool and ominous building, which is the, I don't even know what it's supposed to be. We'll go ahead and explore it real quick. So the area says welcome on a sign, a holographic sign that says welcome. And I've always liked the way this area looks. So from the looks of this place, it's just some sort of a station. But if we actually look up here, it says motel. Firestone Motel. With the arrow pointed toward it. By the way, these arrows and signs are the coolest part about Borderlands. But anyway, you cannot enter this location, and it's clearly been dilapidated, forgotten, abandoned. Because, as you guys can see, there's a fucking skull, for crying out loud. I'm pretty sure there's like a human skull laying around this area. But the power generators don't seem to be working. You can't enter the doors. It would be kind of cool if you can actually enter this location and they had like a bandit or two inside, or a couple of loot chests, but they don't. Instead, they have these really strange doors or bars around these what I'm going to assume to be windows. And that's it. It's not really a motel. I'm assuming it was supposed to be a station of some sort to be have a bigger purpose or use to it. But I'm assuming that in the final cut of the game they just thought, fuck it. We'll throw this sign and call it a motel. And then we'll not have any players who will enter it. But if you can reach the top of it, we'll give you a loot chest. And I don't think they did that just like how I described. I think the reason why they just didn't have this here was because Firestone's very early in the game. This is the introduction location. You're not supposed to ever come back here after the introduction. It's just left here. Just a section of the map that just nobody remembers or gives a fuck about. Because look, this big fat open section right here. The only time you revisit this area is in a DLC, and it's not even the real version of this place. Instead, you enter through here to get to Firestone. Over here is the arena. But over here is where TK Baja lives. And you know, whatever. And then they have this area, right? Where you go to this location right here. The Skag Gully is where you first meet, or you first notice Sledge, really, is what I was talking about back earlier. And then, of course, when you reach this crossing where it cuts off, right about here, it stops right where this nice fine line is, right about here. And then it curves all the way over here and cuts between this area. What this area is right here, these little blocks are rectangles, or actually this is the piss wash gully. So It's where you do that cool jump. Let's get to the other side. And it kind of just shows you the general driving routes. These little dots are kind of showing you the main roads to where to drive to, and then you're supposed to go over here. It's the Doll Headlands, and it has another area where Lucky Zafford's at. So, and it's pretty cool too. But the part of this area that I just never had a chance to talk, the part of this area I never had a chance to talk about was the background. And so I would like to take a minute to talk about it. Because I've always just felt this way about this area. I just never had a chance to really talk about it because, you know, whatever. You have this really strange, I guess, bus stop post to stand under in case of, I guess it's raining, but it never rains. The only thing close, these strange dust clouds that just kind of appear and reappear in this area. The only reason that it does that is it's scripted, and it's only because it's only meant to be seen once, and it's sort of the beginning of the game. It's just to kind of remind you that you're in hell, in this desert hell. But as you guys remember, this is the location that Marcus drives through. If you jump over, you can kind of see what seems to be a wind turbine, and that's it. It's just kind of closed off. You never go through there. I've always wondered what it would be like to reach the other side of that, and at first I thought there would be a way to clip through or parkour through when I was a kid. Obviously I didn't know it was clipping through the map back when I was a kid, but I always thought you could always glitch through. But you also have this kind of secret area over here, which I kind of appreciated when I was younger. It seems like a water purification area or a boiler or something. But they have these cool doll trash cans and this flipped over chair. And that's it. That's all you see this area. It says warning electric sign, so I'm guessing this is like a water power station or something like that. But there is the other half to this section, and I'll show you how to get there actually. So what you're gonna want to do is go actually I'm not even sure that's even the area. Oh, anyway, before we go do that though, and I know I'm kind of taking forever, but fuck it. You have this weird little hut that's being used by Claptrap at the beginning of the game, and you can never crouch underneath it. But I always thought this area was kind of cool. I like how they added the trash there to just signify how it was trashy, and then they had this junk lying about. I liked that so much as a kid for some odd reason. I thought it was like the coolest thing. Was just like the little touches to detail in areas and locations. So if I clearly jump over here, you can see this really long road, but then again, this is how I can tell the developers don't care to put an end to that area, because if you guys, well, not that they don't care, but because they didn't have to, because why would you? Because no player is really going to come back to this location, and you can tell it's supposed to you're never supposed to explore back here, because look, the highway ends right there. There's a rock. I don't know if I could get enough scope on there. Let me see about a sniper rifle of some sort. 1.8, zoom in. Let's see if that's gonna change our perspective. Right about there is where the highway there, or the road ends. It's closed off by that door, it looks like. But if I get a higher point of elevation, is what I'm assuming, I can get a better look at it. But actually there's no door there at all. It's just a bunch of rocks. But yeah. Anyway, you can see this huge puff of smoke out there. That's not on Borderlands 2. Of my knowledge, it's not. But then again, in Borderlands 2, they have a lot more color and stuff. But they have these cool, like, wind turbines in the far distance. And of course, Elpis, which is Pandora's moon, is right there. It has all these cool details to it. It's enlarged. But, yeah, man, in this Borderlands game, you can, kinda, I don't know, kinda, like, tell certain things about it, you know, or you can kinda feel certain things about it. Oh god, we glitched Claptrap. He's never gonna leave this area. I'm surprised this bug is still in the game, so I'll kind of give you the story of this. So if you walk outside of this area, or even look, this area isn't even complete, but look, you're probably supposed to go back there. See where my bullet hole is? It has kind of a little cave interior in there, kind of look to it. But then that area kind of, it looks like it was going somewhere. So it's probably an unfinished section of the game. Or actually, it's probably... Nah, that can't be. Can't be. Simply can't be. Also, this area is kind of cool. It's just kind of a junk hut. But it's clearly nothing because when you can kind of see it, it's all junk on the inside. So it looks like whoever is living here, this got caved in. So it kind of has its own like little story to it, you know. Like clearly somebody was living or occupying this little hut right here at one point. But anyway, this Claptrap story I'm about to tell you, kind of strange. So basically, after you've exited this whole point and go back to the beginning, the introduction section of the map, and come back, Claptrap will be glitched around this wall. And essentially this is also in the Borderlands 1 version of the PS3, Xbox 3. I can't speak for Xbox 360, but on the or PC, but on the PS3 at least, it's also a glitch. I'm pretty sure it's a glitch in all forms of the game though. But anyway, Claptrap will just be glitched there. These are also pretty cool because they kind of show you. So these are kind of cool because they kind of show you kind of this, it almost kind of looks like a city almost. And these are kind of, I guess, I don't know what those are supposed to be, but you can kind of see stuff from, that's why. Runner for sale, and it's just a picture of the standard runner. Anyway, kind of see this like tower station thing. It's kind of cool. And then I never could understand this, even to this day, who this guy is. I kind of see his like missing posters, but I've never seen a character model with that shaped forehead, that big. Missing persons. Let's say Amanda? Amanda Ray. Oh, by the way, you get this cool note from Jacobs Corporation. It's pretty cool. And just these kind of strange pictures all over the place. Then you get these Crimson Lance posters that are fucking badass looking. But yeah, man, you get all these kind of weird art of stuff everywhere, including like right here, for instance. Why isn't my game rendering? Oh Lord Jesus, take forever. Oh, is it better now? No, it's getting there. But that's like another missing person. Guns being advertised. That's what those are. A skag sign. You know, just so much just stuff that could just be looked at as just like props, but when you pay attention to it, it's kind of eerie and strange. Like for some odd reason, Dr. Zed has this weird toy car right here. I can never fully explain why this is in the game, or a prop at least right here. These are it's pretty cool because this is like a real round. It is this is a real bullet. So it's a it's 300 it's 200 rounds of 7.62 millimeter. So these would appear to be boxes of bullets, assumingly. So really cool. They have that, but 7.62 is a real round. I'm not even sure that they intended 7.62 to even be in the game, because if you look at any assault rifle, which by the way, 7.62 by 39 millimeter is the AK round. So it's an assault rifle. Well, not an assault rifle round, because assault rifles don't really exist, unless of course you're referring to weapons that have a select fire. But you know, it's never mentioned in any of these assault rifles. One of the things I kind of don't like is you can't inspect this like you can in the second game. But oh man, right here there's a lot of art right here. So there's this weird thing. It's also on the one over there, but it's just kind of more of the same stuff, you know. But oh yeah, here it is. Here's where they're advertising the weapons: the revolver, pistol, shotgun, assault rifle, and SMG. And so, and get all these cool notes and stuff. And you know, the first Borderlands game is so different, because if you think about it, here, I'll show you. It's so weird. Watch, you'll see. So Titador makes assault rifles. SNS munitions exist. It's not in the second game. Vladov, well, they made rocket launchers in Borderlands 2. No, oh yeah, look at this. Fucking Torg makes fucking sniper rifles, dude. Like, what the fuck, you know? If you just played the second Borderlands game, you won't understand this at all, because it just exists. There's no explanation. There's no need for an explanation. Titador makes fucking assault rifles, dude. And we'll look through some of our equipment and see if we can find anything weird. Hyperion makes fucking rocket launchers. Vladov makes shotguns. Okay, that's just unheard of. And Borderlands 2, speaking. Now, I'm not sure about Hyperion. No, they never made rocket launchers in Borderlands 2, a pre-sequel to my knowledge. Revolvers are a different category than pistols. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over this real quick. So basically, yeah, so revolvers were their own bullet type than pistols. Kind of cool, right? Because now I can have both. But the cool part about it is that pistol proficiency also works on revolvers. So, you know, it is most certainly whatever. So pistol proficiency also works on revolvers. So, cool fact for you. Just kind of like how the, you know, the Iridian weapon proficiency is its own thing, but, or do revolvers, here's my big question. I'm 99.9% sure, at least that the revolvers are 99.9% positive on my own that revolvers have the same weapon proficiency as pistols. So, or maybe not. Because if you look at it, if you look at pistols, it shows a picture of a or a cop, right? A standard cop. So look, he's got his cop hat, his belt, and his pistol, right? When you go down to this, it shows a picture of a sheriff with a cowboy hat, a big ass belt buckle, a scoped revolver like Fallout New Vegas, and fucking that's it. Okay, so they're different claptrap models. Each model has its own claptrap version. So check this out, man. So what I mean by claptrap models is actually look above the brand, right? So it's right next to where it says damage, accuracy, fire rate. It's to the right of that, right above the where it says your ammo count. So you'll see a picture of claptrap. In this case, he's a cop. In this one, he's a sheriff, and I don't know what he's supposed to be in this one, but he's got this like cool looking hat with a with dog tags, and then with the, you know, with the assault rifle, it looks like claptrap has been to Vietnam. He's got an M16 with one of them old school Vietnam era helmets that our soldiers used to wear. You know, old school helmets, and then he's got this fucking bullet chain around him. Then this one, he's a hillbilly. He's got the hat and the shotgun. He's ready to go at it. For the sniper rifle, he takes on a Davy Crockett in impersonation, where he's got the raccoon hat and the sniper rifle. And here he takes a more tactical approach. He's got this weird tactical helmet with goggles equipped. He's got dog tags and an SMG. With this one, he takes kind of a weird ass turn. He's got, instead of having a wheel like these ones have, instead he has tentacles, and he has a weird laser ray gun, and he's got the antennas, the alien antennas. And for the shields, or class mods, he has this really weird, I guess, look to him. I don't even know what he's supposed to be. It looks like he's just looking at a piece of paper, or I don't know if it's supposed to be. But above that, he's got this cool grenade with a light bulb at the end, a lighter at the other, and all these weird gadgets attached to it. And then above that, he takes on the Viking impression, where he's got a shield, a Viking helmet, and it's fucking badass. And apart from all that, he's got his own character models. And if you go over here to the quests, if you click right here, he takes on this really cool look to him, this adventurer look, like that of Sir Francis Drake. He's got the Spanish helmet, the treasure chest behind him. It's fucking hilarious. And then if you scroll over another one, he takes on this impersonation of a DJ or whatever, because now he's got these cool cassette tapes, a fucking Sony Walkman, and headphones. I'm weak. And so, you know, when you turn in quests, it has its own kind of look to it. Like if I go look through, it only appears whenever you go to turn in a quest. leaving Firestone. And I'll show him. It's like he wears a birthday hat, and that's fucking hilarious. But yeah, no, they had different models of claptraps for things. Sniper rifles, class mods, grenades, different quests and challenges and stuff like that, as you can clearly see. So, and a lot of people didn't even know, you know, I know I wasn't the only one, but I didn't even know that this was even in the game, the challenges and this. I didn't even know that these were fully in the game. I only thought it was just this. You know, I'd go over to here and just go down. But yeah, man. And they're differently, they're categorized. So see, dull headlands leaving Firestone, arid badlands. So it shows where each of the areas take place and all that. So for new players, note that exists. For new players, how you toggle between that is through triangle. So for a lot of people, I didn't even know this was in the game until a couple days ago, actually. And I've been playing this since 2009. That's a long time. So, yeah, it's a very long time. Rat-a-tat. So many little holes. Bullet hose. Human tsunami. What the fuck? One shot, one kill. Get 50 kills with the sniper rifle. I'll wait back here. I'm pretty sure that's a reference to something, but get 250 kills with the sniper rifle. Like, look, there's references. Like, look, check this out, man. Bloodsport, that's a reference. Die Hard, that's a reference. Sting Like a Bee is a reference to Muhammad Ali. Obviously Bloodsport's a reference to Bloodsport. Die Hard's a reference to the Bruce Willis movie Die Hard. I mean, like, look, man, there's so many references like that. Roland says, "'Tis but a flesh wound," and that's a reference to the Monty Python and the Holy Grail film. Yeah, Borderlands has so many references, and that's just the bare minimum I can come up with off the top of my head. I'm sure there's thousands. Oh, there's an achievement in the game called "My Brother is an Italian Plumber," and that's a reference to Mario, obviously. And how you obtain it's actually a reference to Mario. You jump on top of enemies and they take damage. So yeah, there's a lot of references. And this stream has been an hour and a half. Well, actually more than an hour and a half, so I'm going to end it. So, see you later.